In Academic Writing Task 1, you need to write a report or summary in response to a line chart, bar chart, pie chart, diagram, or table. In this video, I'm going to tell you how to write a high-scoring table summary. For this question type, you'll be given a table containing figures, and your job is to describe the given data by writing at least 150-word report. Let's take a look at a sample question so that you can get a better idea of what I'm talking about.
Alright, as you can see, there is a table, a question statement, and some general instructions to follow. As mentioned earlier, you need to write at least 150 words and you should spend about 20 minutes on this task. Now let's read the question statement. It says, the table below gives information about runs scored by famous cricketers. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. So the table gives information about runs scored by famous cricketers, right? Now the first and the most important step before writing the summary is to analyze and understand the data given in the table, isn't it? Without understanding what is given in the table, you won't be able to write about it. So you have to look at the data carefully to identify the important information. One more thing I want to add here is your report should be entirely based on the data given in the table. You're not supposed to use your general knowledge or provide your opinion, right? So let's analyze this table. Look at the headings first. Player. You can see names of 6 popular cricketers are there. Matches. This column lists number of matches each player played. Innings, number of innings each cricketer played, and then runs, total number of runs he scored. Second, you can see the runs are in descending order, right? Which clearly means Tendulkar scored maximum runs, whereas K.C. Sangakkara scored minimum runs. Next, if you notice, the runs in the this and this row, third and fourth row, are almost identical, right? See, there's a difference of only 1 score. So if you look closely, Dravid played 2 matches less than Callis did, but still managed to score as much as he did, right? Similarly, if you look at the runs of Cook and Sangakkara, they are also very close, although Sangakkara played fewer matches, right? So after analyzing the table, these are the key points we have collected. Tendulkar made maximum runs. Sangakkara made minimum. R.T. Ponting is the second highest scorer here, second highest scorer. Callis and Dravid made identical runs, though Dravid played 2 matches less than Callis did. Cook and Sangakkara made approximately same runs, though Sangakkara played fewer matches. So this is how we analyze, compare, and contrast data to extract various key points or information from it. Now, next step is to organize observations into logical groups and paragraphs. And this is how you can structure your response. First, introduce the topic. You can do it by paraphrasing or rephrasing the question statement in your own words. While rephrasing, make sure not to use the same words that are already in the statement. For instance, if we look at our sample question statement, you can rephrase it by replacing gives with illustrates, runs with maximum number of runs, famous with prominent, and likewise, we can rephrase the entire sentence using synonyms and other similar phrases, right? Some students copy-paste the question statement as it is in the introduction, but that's not going to impress the examiner. To score high, you'll have to use different words and phrases to let the examiner know that you are well versed in the language, right? In the second paragraph, give an overview of the most noticeable or important features of the table. So here we can talk about the players who made maximum and minimum runs. And finally, you can delve into details. Here you can write a paragraph or two about the similarities or differences you found in the data. So first, introduce the topic by paraphrasing the question statement. Then write an overview of most noticeable or important features. And finally, describe the data in detail. Now let me show you a high band sample answer for this question. Okay, let's look at the summary section by section. The first paragraph is the introduction paragraph. Here we have simply paraphrased the question statement, plus we have talked about the other two headings, number of matches and individual innings. Let's read it. The table illustrates the maximum number of runs scored by 6 prominent cricketers from across the world, along with the number of matches and individual innings they played. Next is the overview paragraph. Here we have described the general or most noticeable features of the table. So you can see it talks about maximum and minimum runs. Notice the phrase in general. It means it indicates that we are going to describe general information. Let's read it. In general, maximum runs were scored by S.R. Tendulkar from India, whereas the lowest were scored by K.C. Sangakkara from Sri Lanka. Tendulkar made 15,921 runs by playing 329 innings in 200 matches. On the other hand, Sangakkara made 12,400 runs by playing 233 innings in 134 matches. All right. So once you have written the overview, it's time to delve into the specific details of the table. So we've written 2 paragraphs to give details. The first one talks about Callis and Dravid. And the second one talks about Ponting, A.N. Cook, and Sangakkara. So based on our observations, we have written almost similar runs were scored by J.H. Callis from South Africa and R. Dravid from India. There was a difference of only 1 score. Callis played 280 innings and 166 matches. Although Dravid played only 164 matches, he managed to score as much by playing more innings. The second highest scorer was Archie Ponting from Australia. He scored 13,378 runs by playing 287 innings in 168 matches. Additionally, even though the difference in innings played by A.N. Cook, representing England, and K.C. Sangakkara was 58, each scored approximately 12,400 runs. That's the end of our summary. So how did we go about it? First, we analyzed the data given in the table to extract all the important points, and then we organized that information into logical groups and paragraphs. Now, this sample table summary has all the elements to get a high score. Let me tell you how. The examiner, while assessing your writing response, is looking for 4 main things in your writing: task achievement, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, grammatical range, and accuracy. Task achievement means whether you covered all parts of the question. So when the examiner looks at your answer, they see whether you presented a clear introduction, overview, and description of specific features of the table. If we look at the sample answer, there is a clear introduction, then an overview, and finally, detailed description of the data, right? Next, your response should be well structured as well as logical. That's what coherence and cohesion means. As you can see, all these paragraphs are giving a nice structure to the writing. We've also made sure that paragraphs or sentences connect with each other so that they make sense. For this, we have made use of various linking words such as whereas, on the other hand, although, additionally, right? Our next parameter is lexical resource. Lexical resource is your range of vocabulary. And if we talk about grammatical range is your hold over grammar. The examiner checks your range of vocabulary and your range of grammar and how accurately you've used it while writing your response. You can see we've used a rich vocabulary here. Maximum number of runs, prominent, from across the world, lowest, almost similar, difference of, second highest, approximately. So you can see the vocabulary is not only rich, but also appropriate to the description of this table, right? And if we talk about grammar, we've used a good mix of simple, compound, and complex sentences. So this one here is a compound sentence, whereas the next sentence is a simple sentence, right? If we talk about tenses, simple present tense is used for introduction, whereas past tense is used for rest of the paragraphs. Then there is active passive forms, passive form, active form, right? So we have used a varied range of grammatical structures to show our hold over grammar. So while writing your response, you need to keep these things, these 4 parameters in your mind. If you do well in each of the criteria, you are bound to score high in your writing test.
So, did you get it? Cover all the parts of the question, make your writing well structured and well connected, deliberately use sophisticated vocabulary and advanced grammatical structures. Do all this and you will definitely score higher in your writing task 1. So that's all for this video. Thank you.
For personalized live IELTS classes at affordable prices, enroll at yunolearning.com.